Like anything in life, there are certain expectations of professionals. And in the medical field, when a doctor fails to meet the standard of care, what is expected of a physician when they provide care, that may amount to medical malpractice.
When you think about medical malpractice, an easy analogy is to think about rules that drivers of automobiles have to follow. They're called the rules of the road. Similarly, for physicians, there are rules that they must follow as well. And when a physician fails to meet the rules of the road for doctors, that's called a deviation from the standard of care, and that is the definition of medical malpractice. Medical malpractice is a very big issue because of the impact that it has on individuals' lives. And unfortunately, preventable errors are still happening at alarming rates. So while there's a lot of excellent medical care being provided, there are still things happening to patients that have no business taking place in modern medicine.
It's an interesting question as to why individuals don't file medical malpractice claims. And I think there are multiple reasons. Number one, I think some people just don't realize they've been the victim of medical malpractice. Number two, I think people are hesitant to get involved in the legal setting because they don't want to air their very private issues. And a third issue, I think, is there are still people who put doctors on a pedestal. And that was probably justified 100 years ago when doctors came to your house and gave you individualized care and were in medicine because they cared. But today, medicine is a big business. And here in Allegheny County, the largest employer is in fact a healthcare system. And so you don't get the individualized care that you used to get. In fact, doctors work on commission. The more they bring into their healthcare system, the more they get paid. And it's just not where medicine should be.
I think the simplest answer is people are afraid of taking on physicians in major healthcare systems. We see how big healthcare providers are. They're the largest employers in our region. And people think there's no way I could ever stand up to them. And that's why us at Rosen and Perry come into the equation, because we fight those fights for people and we do things that they never would dream of being capable of doing on their own.
Medical malpractice issues are complex. And it's very important, if you're going to get into a medical malpractice case, that all of the areas of medicine are understood and that you're prepared to deal with them. In our opinion, the best way to do that is to have a medical staff in-house. So we employ a nurse and a physician full-time so that when we get medical records in, our law degrees may not allow us to understand the complex medical issues, so our medical department can unravel those issues, go do medical research, and help us understand what's going on in the case. And as we tell all individuals who want to listen to us, on the day in question when we're going to sit down across the table from a doctor or a healthcare provider, no one in that room will know more about the issue than us, because the doctors haven't been to school for several years. They didn't have the months or weeks ahead of time to prepare for the deposition, to learn everything there is to learn about the medical situation at hand so that they're prepared for the deposition. We take the same approach at trial. When we go into trial, we know more in that courtroom than anybody.
So if you want to know if you have a case, pick up the phone and give us a call. We have an intake specialist who talks to people every day, all day, about what has happened to them. It's easy, it doesn't cost you anything, and it's fast. That information will be entered into our computer system and it will be discussed with an attorney team who will get back to you with feedback about whether your facts constitute a case under Pennsylvania law. You'll then have a chance to speak with an attorney, and any questions that you have will be answered along the way. It's very simple. It all starts with a phone call.